Welcome back. I'm attorney Thomas Burton. I'm an estate planning and asset protection attorney here in Wisconsin. And today we return to my popular question and answer series where I answer real reader questions pro bono as a service to the public. So today's question comes from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and they ask the following. Can I make changes on a power of attorney for healthcare? I live in Wisconsin. In Wisconsin, when making out a power of attorney for healthcare that only requires two witnesses' signatures, can it be notarized in lieu of the witnesses? So for a power of attorney for healthcare, you must have two witnesses. You cannot substitute a notary. And the reason for this is set out in the Wisconsin statutes. In Wisconsin Statute 151.10, a power of attorney for healthcare execution requirements witnesses. This section of the statute says a valid power of attorney for healthcare instrument shall be all of the following: A, in writing; B, dated and signed by the principal, that's you, the person making the power of attorney, or by an individual who has attained age 18 at the express direction and in the presence of the principal. So if you are physically unable to sign, you can direct someone to sign it for you in your in your presence. And C, signed in the presence of two witnesses who meet the requirements of sub 2. And D, voluntarily execute. So you can't execute it under duress. It has to be voluntarily. So then sub 2 says a witness of the execution of a valid power of attorney for healthcare instrument shall be an individual who has attained age 18. No witness to the execution of the power of attorney for healthcare instrument may, at the time of execution, be any of the following: A, related to the principal by blood, marriage, or adoption, or the domestic partner under Chapter 770 of the individual. So it can't be a relative related by blood, marriage, or adoption, or your domestic partner. B, have knowledge that he or she is entitled to or has a claim on any portion of the principal's estate. So the witness also can't be someone you named in your estate planning documents and they have knowledge of that. C, directly financially responsible for the principal's health care. D, an individual who is a healthcare provider who is serving the principal at the time of execution, an employee other than a chaplain or social worker of the healthcare provider, or an employee other than a chaplain or a social worker of an inpatient healthcare facility in which the principal is a patient. So generally, anyone treating you at a healthcare facility cannot serve as a witness other than the chaplain or a social worker. So this is a big reason I suggest to people you should not wait until you're in need of serious medical care to execute a power of attorney for healthcare, because the statutes explicitly say people like the doctor and the nurses cannot serve as witnesses. So if you're on your deathbed in the hospital and you haven't signed a power of attorney for healthcare, a lot of those people are immediately disqualified for witnesses. Now, some facilities have the chaplain and the social worker who will serve as witnesses, but again, if it's a time-sensitive situation, you have to be leaving it up to hoping that they're available when you need them. So the other thing I caution against waiting till you're in a care facility is there can be questions about your mental capacity and things like that, depending on your health condition and the drugs you're on. So in my opinion, it's much safer and better to execute a power of attorney for healthcare on the outside when you're not in a healthcare facility, either in front of two disinterested witnesses like your friends or neighbors, or doing it with your attorney at the attorney's office where none of those people are your healthcare providers. And E, the final person who cannot be a witness for the healthcare power of attorney is the principal's healthcare agent. So you can't name your friend Sally as the agent and then have Sally be the witness. So the healthcare agent is very specific on who can and cannot be a witness. and you cannot substitute a notary public on this document. Now, I see a lot of confusion over this because on a power of attorney for finances, which deals only with your financial affairs and property, that document can be executed in front of a notary public. In fact, only your signature is required to make it valid. But it's different for the healthcare power of attorney. You can't substitute the notary on this document. So good question. You can change or amend this document. Just make sure you get it signed and witnessed properly if you're looking to make updates or changes to your previously executed healthcare document, because the key to making it legal is that it's signed and witnessed in compliance with the statutes. And then you can make those updates. Now, sometimes people ask me how to update a power of attorney for healthcare. Generally, I would just recommend executing a new one that revokes the previous document and is in current compliance with the laws as they exist today, because they just updated the statutes earlier this year on the power of attorney, early in 2020, I should say, for the power of attorney for healthcare. And so if you have a document prior to that date and you want to make changes anyway, you might as well just execute the completely new version, which is compliant with the state statutes as of today, because that's what the healthcare facilities are going to go off of and be most familiar with. So good question. Again, you cannot substitute a notary. You need those two disinterested witnesses. And reference Chapter 155.10 of the Wisconsin statutes if you want that exact list again of who can and cannot serve as a witness. So thanks for asking the question, and thank you to the rest of you for watching. If this video has been helpful to you, please consider giving it a like so that the YouTube algorithm will see that and show it to other people who could benefit from this information as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.